What's up, guys? I'm pretty sure this is the beginning of the video this time. For 4 days I've been trying to bleed these brake lines. I hooked them all up, ran brake lines, and then that back one ended up getting clogged up. So I drained it all, take it all back apart, completely flush the hard metal lines down the body all the way to the back. I'm pretty sure it's ready to just be bled. So I'm gonna start the video here to show you how to bleed the brakes on this car. And then for those of you that wanna see and learn what happens when you don't flush your brake fluid, or you have dirty brake fluid, or something gets in your brake line, I will show you that. So let's get started. Everything should be good. Hook the bleeder up and bleed these brakes. Okay, so I pretty much flushed all the brake lines out. I don't think I recorded all of them, but I got all the fluid out. It's completely empty now. So no more 3 dot. I don't have to worry about leaving some 3 in there. It's all gonna be dot 4. Now I'm pretty sure I already said this, but just in case I don't use any of that footage, on this car is a little weird. Usually the brake lines are straight below the reservoir. Usually the passenger rear is the farthest brake caliper from this reservoir. So you always want to start with the one that's farthest away from the reservoir, but this car is a little weird because the brake lines come over here, then to the passenger side down, and then up and over. So actually the farthest caliper away from this reservoir after going through all the lines is that one. So you want to start on the driver's side rear, then passenger side rear, then obviously the passenger side front, and then this one is the order you should bleed your brake lines in on a 3000 GT. Okay, now that I got fresh brake fluid in there and everything should flow decent, what you want to do, you're using one of these. If you're doing this with a buddy, you know, just pump your brakes and then crack this one open. But I'm not doing that. Okay, you're going to want to get this pumped up as much as you can and then crack this open. And you never want to run out of brake fluid in your reservoir. You always want to keep it up, like past where it starts to turn. Or you never want to run it below, like the midline. Oh yeah, something else I learned. You can put some grease on these if you're like leaking through the threads. I'm gonna do that actually. Now you're pretty much gonna bleed everything at least twice. Get this to where it's just pretty much fluid coming out. You're still gonna get a couple air bubbles right now because all the other lines have air in them, but at least this line's pretty much full. Okay, now just pretty much bleed every brake caliper all the way around. I'm not gonna film that, so I'm gonna go over to that one, then the driver front, and then back to this one. And I'll probably do that 2 or 3 times. Just make sure all the air is out. Okay, everything's bled. Got all the air out of all the lines. All 4 calipers bled okay. Finally, got them all tightened up. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna clean everything with brake cleaner, and I'll be out here tomorrow. Make sure there's no brake fluid drips anywhere, but it should be all good. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the footage of me hooking all the brakes up and running into that problem with that back line. Hopefully this doesn't happen to one of you. It could have been really bad if I didn't notice it. Could have been going down the road and then just all of a sudden not having brakes. That brake line was completely clogged. Once that cleared, it could have just been a line full of air. Now, I got new clips because I pretty much got all new brake lines. This rubber line is new. I'm going to upgrade with braided lines eventually. I'm going to do it when I take these off and paint them. I'm just not doing that right now. That's literally the last thing I'm worried about. I want to get the car running, and the tuner, he needs brakes because he's going to pretty much break this in on a dyno. You know, he's going to put a base tune on it. I'm going to drive it a little bit if the weather lets me. If not, he's got a 4-wheel dyno. He'll put like a few hundred on it every day after work or something like that for me to help break it in before we throw a tune on this. Like I said, I got all new braided lines in the engine bay. This is a new braided line right here. And then I just got all new rubber for now because it was easy to get and cheap. But these clips that usually go here to hold this line in place, they just pretty much wear away to nothing. So I got all new clips for that. They're right here. They were like 3 cents. Now this line just pretty much goes up in there and then locks in place with these tabs. I'm gonna put some on there. I've asked about this a few times. If any of you guys know where I can get those rubber grommets, I want new ones. I got one old one. The other one ripped. See, look, I got one. It's an old one, but this one completely, I mean, it'll be better than nothing I'll use on the other side. At least in my situation, you want to try to put it in through the wheel well because I don't want to scratch the engine bay, you know? And just feed it in. Try to clean these up as much as possible. Now look, these aren't expensive to get brake wrenches. Even if you can get a regular wrench on there, I swear, you always end up rounding them out. I mean, these ones with these extra sides, they just fit on there like nice and tight like a socket. You can get like a cheap set from Harbor Freight. for like $5 or something. Even a cheap set's better than sitting here using a regular wrench and stripping it out. I gotta do that pretty much on all four. And then I like to crack all the bleeders open, fill the reservoir up a couple times, then close the front ones and then go to whichever one's the farthest. That's just a selling point, right? Like all brake fluid is synthetic, isn't it? Am I stupid for saying that? Pretty sure all brake fluid is man-made synthetic oil. Everyone thinks that's better all the time, so they're still synthetic on everything. Alright. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not leaking anything anywhere. Alright, I'm gonna go around and crack all these bleeders open just to get the fluid moving. I'm here by myself, so I don't really have someone to sit here and pump. This is like the hardest car to gravity bleed. I tried to gravity bleed this when I first got these calipers, and I left all these bleeders open all night long, and I came back and nothing moved. So I went and I bought this bleeder. I'm pretty sure this didn't work. So I ended up having a buddy come and help me do the brakes. I'll try it again. Maybe I was doing it wrong, but it seems to be working at least on my finger. Let me go around and tighten all these up, and I'll start in the back and work my way up, see if it works. Been pretty much sitting at 20 psi this whole time. I'm so stupid. I should have used .3 first. That's what I'm gonna do. You can mix .3 and .4 together. That was pretty stupid that I didn't use .3 at the beginning on the first fill up and then add .4 to the other two. Working now though. There might be something wrong with that back line somewhere. I don't know what I was doing different last time, but I swear last time I tried to do this, this bleeder did not work at all. It's so crazy how much better this is working. Okay, I just been sitting here screwing around trying to find a brake bleeder. I've never had a brake bleeder go bad. Like, I guess it's just clogged up, but all three of these bled fine. And this one I kept having a problem with. It was just, you would hear it. It was just hissing. Like, I thought maybe the caliper was cracked somewhere. Took the bleeder out. And it wasn't, it was actually just leaking out the side. Like the rubber seal was only sealing so much. I just think something's wrong with this caliper, honestly. I don't understand. I just switched the bleeders out from one of the front ones that bled fine. The other three calipers, I put this thing on there. I pump it up to 20 psi of suction. Then I break it loose and it immediately just fills this up pretty much. It just sucks all the air out. And then once this is full and it's just fluid coming, I close it and then I move on to the next one. This is the only one that I'm having problems. Like, it's just sitting at 10 psi. The bleeder's all the way open. Like, all the other ones, I can't even get up to 20 when the bleeder's open. It just sucks too fast. Like, I think there's something clogged in this caliper. Or maybe there was something in the lines, and since I started on this one, I immediately sucked some dirt into this caliper. I don't know what I did. I got our new bleeders coming tomorrow. I'm gonna put all new bleeders on everything, bleed everything again. If this one's still giving me a problem, I don't know. What's up, guys? I've been out here for a little bit. It's the next day. So the only thing I can come up with is, since I started on this brake caliper first, is that I had some dirt in the lines and I immediately sucked dirt into this caliper. The bleeder's clogged again. What I need to do is completely flush this system from this caliper. Alright, I'm gonna take this caliper off and try to flush it out, like bench bleed it. I'm sure there's a few of you that are like, just rebuild the calipers and powder coat them. I don't have time to do that right now. I need to just have the brakes work for right now so you can take this and tune this car. The ECU is going to be here soon. So I don't want to wait for powder coating and then getting the rebuild parts to rebuild these calipers. Once this car is tuned and driving, I'm going to take these calipers off, break them all down, send them out and have them powder coated, and then rebuild them. I promise. I don't want to do it right now. If you don't know how to take a caliper off, it's just a bolt right there and a bolt down there on the caliper bracket. This whole caliper will come off. Leave this on until you get the caliper off, because this whole line's going to want to spin. You understand what I'm saying? And you'll pinch it and rip it. Take the caliper off and then spin the caliper. This should just flow super easy. So it is this line. There's definitely something caught in the line somewhere, or line's pinched. Should not just be holding 20 psi of vacuum, barely going down. That should just be flowing out. So I'm gonna put this up in the air, figure out which one of these metal lines go to that back corner, disconnect it up here, and see if I can suck anything out of there. I am gonna check this real quick too. Yeah, see, it's fine. Let's put this in the vise. I'll put fluid in there and suck it back out. I can tell you right now it's fine just the way it's flowing. Yeah, dude, that's fine. I don't know if you can see that. but it's not building any pressure. It's just immediately sucking everything out. The smart thing would have been to blow these brake lines out when I had it apart. Yeah, so they're opposite of what you think they are. Alright, at least on my car, it's this one, because I did the ABS delete, and if you've been here, I completely forgot that I did this. I ended up crossing my back ones. No, I ended up crossing my front brake lines when I did the ABS delete. So it's this one and that one and this one, because I had to cut out a piece of brake. It's a long story. This side is that side now on the back, which is usually the opposite way. All those lines out back were fine. I'm gonna take this apart and then I can put a suction on there and see if this whole line's cleared. And if it is, I don't know for sure, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's little screws down here that you can adjust how much fluid goes to the rear and how much fluid goes to the front. So maybe I just gotta adjust a little bit. Maybe the back's completely off, or like 99% off. There's only supposed to be, you know, 15-20% that go to the rear brakes. Like, it's not supposed to be a lot. Like, maybe it's 25%, I don't know, I'll look it up. A lot of your brakes are on the front wheels, and only some are on the back. When I bled this caliper, yes, it came out slower than the front ones. The front ones, you know, I'd build the pressure up on the gun, break that thing loose, and it immediately just sucked all the air out and filled itself up with fluid. This one, I broke it loose, and it sucked air out, and then it was slowly bringing in fluid. But that one over there isn't like bringing in anything. Sit there and you'll have it just hold at 10-15 psi and it does nothing. It like will bring in drops of fluid. Like there's either a clog or not enough is going to it. Something's wrong. Okay, there's definitely something in that line, because I went back, I should have filmed it, I'm sorry I didn't. But you see that line right there broke off? I took off right here. That's the brake line that goes to that rear side. And before I took it off, I pumped this up to 25 psi, right? I pumped this up to 25 vacuum. Not doing it now because I think I cleared it. And when I took that off, it wasn't moving. You barely heard a hissing. It was like super small hiss. And then just all of a sudden, it was like and sucked it all the way out to zero. Now it won't build up any pressure. So hopefully there's just a piece of dirt or something in there and I just cleaned it all out. Let's take this off and see if I can find junk in there. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, honestly. Probably got the whole lens covered in brake fluid. I don't know. But there's definitely little chunks of dirt in there. I had gloves on those brake lines, but obviously it wasn't good enough. I'm gonna put this all back together, put some brake fluid in there, suck that out with the disconnector from the caliper, and see if it moves any better. I got that all back together. It's gonna drive me nuts if I can't show you guys this. I'm gonna try to drain this out and keep the dust on this towel so you guys can see how little clogged up that whole line. Maybe you guys can actually see it now. It's just literally just little flakes. Oh, there is a little piece of paint in there. So just that little tiny bit completely clogged up the brake lines. So put some brake fluid in there and suck just the line and see if it moves better. There we go. I got my new bleeders. Here's the bleeder that was in that caliper. You see how I pump it? It immediately just goes to 25. Just because I feel like I've done a horrible job explaining it. See? It doesn't move at all. It just sucks air through the hole. Hey, real quick, too. Should have showed you why the other caliper was off. This is the old caliper, 91 to 98. All have one piston in the rear. Can you guys see? There you go, right there. There's one piston. The 99s are double the size and have two pistons. There was like 3 of you that were sitting here saying that it was a waste of money to upgrade to the 99s. Because they're the same. The stopping power is no better. They're double the size. And I also got these because I stripped one out on my stock brakes. I got all 4 99s for less money than I could have bought remanufactured 91s. So it's not like I did a bad deal on upgrading to the 99s. I paid less money for 99s than I could have got 91s for that would have just been like remanufactured without the name on it. They would have just been like AutoZone brand with nothing there. I think that was a pretty good deal to get the 99 brakes. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Actually, all my other stuff came today. I got the fuel pressure regulator, I got the injectors, I got the shift bushings, I got the hot wire for the fuel pump, so I'll do all that in the next video, and the ECU should be here too. And then it'll be ready to go and be tuned. I'm gonna start actually doing the fuel pressure regulator right now, but that'll be in the next one. I'll see you in the next video.